Hello, it's Friday, so this must be the Wisdom Factory. That's usually when we host these hangouts on air, and tonight is no exception. But what is exceptional is that we have four people with us, in addition to the two of us, Heidi and Mark, your hosts, and we're going to have a very international discussion about problems in the Middle East and, of course, how that affects Europe and America and other places around the world, because this violence is busting out all over. But we want to start by introducing our guests, and I'm going to ask each in turn to say a few words about themselves. Can we begin with Saeed, for example?
Yeah, some of our watchers already know Saeed, yes, because he has been with us, I think, 4 times now.
4 times?
The 5th, I don't know.
He should host us. Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
I'll say I feel privileged and humbled to be invited back to speak so many times. My name is Saeed, and I'm married to the person sitting next to me, Elza. And Elza and I worked with Dr. Beck, Dr. Don Beck, who was the original creator of the spiral dynamics theory, which is based on Claire Graves's lifelong research. So Elza has worked with Dr. Beck and our 2 other guests, Nafiz and Neri, on the Build Palestine initiative. And on my end, I worked with the spiral dynamics theory and the Graves framework to create my own framework. And all it is the application of the Beck-Graves model to macroeconomics. So I've created my own theoretical framework called E.Maalouf, and I've published a book based on that. And you know, when you have an understanding of the value systems framework, as everybody here knows, you tend to have a different lens on the world. So my expertise comes from the knowledge of value systems, not necessarily the political aspect to what's happening in the Middle East. That is a complement to the value system. So I'm glad to be here, and I'm looking forward to an engaging hour of conversation and back and forth.
Okay. Thank you, Saeed, the memenomics expert. We'll have some questions about that too, I think. And now, Elza, can you say a few words about yourself?
Yes. I'm Lebanese American. I came and I work with Dr. Beck on the Build Palestine initiative. What other things I can say?
The author of Emerge.
The author of Emerge, The Rise of Functional Democracy and the Future of the Middle East.
Yes, indeed.
This is your book. Can you show it?
Yeah, can you hold it up so everyone can see that? Oh, we're talking, so it looks...
No, we can
Oh,
see.
there we go.
Okay,
that's a good
wonderful.
one.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
And I think you're being... Go ahead.
It was endorsed by Jean Houston, my good friend, and Deepak Chopra.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it about my background.
And you are working...
You're being so modest, Elza.
Yeah, really. You
There
are
are
working
so many things that could be said about you.
actively in the field, so you are really having the big knowledge and expertise to our topic.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward.
I work in different parts in the Middle East. I work mostly in Kuwait as a consultant. That's how I make my money. And I spend it on the Build Palestine initiative.
And that's how you spend it.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Kuwait.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Well, thank you. All right. Thank you, Elza. And And now we want to move to people who are living in Israel, or can I say occupied Palestine? I don't know what is the correct term to use, and I don't care. Okay. But anyway, first of all, from Israel, I think in Tel Aviv, or is it near Tel Aviv, Neri?
Tel Aviv, in the center of Tel Aviv.
Center of Tel Aviv.
Right in the middle.
All right, in the middle. Very good. Tell us a bit about yourself. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm Israeli. I studied philosophy and economy, and in 2002, 2003, I started the Integral Israel group. It started as a salon, and we end up suggesting and inviting Don Beck and Elza to work here in Israel with the perspective of spiral dynamics. And it started a very long project that I'm very happy to support and be part of. Today I work mainly with grassroots groups, helping them organize and build their capacity to achieve their goals. And spiral dynamics and integral perspectives are my, I don't like to call it toolbox, but this is how I look at reality in a way. And you can call it occupied Palestine or Israel. We are all live here in the territory, and we're looking to make it a better place. And as soon as possible, I think this is what we want to achieve in this project.
Okay, thank you, Neri.
Wonderful, yeah.
And next is our guest from Bethlehem, and his name is Nafiz. Let me not butcher your last name. Rifaie, is that correct?
You must unmute yourself now.
Now you must unmute yourself, Nafiz.
Yeah, I am Nafiz Rifaie from Bethlehem, from occupied Palestine. I am under occupation. And I was arrested from the occupation. Spent many years of my life trying to get my freedom and the freedom of my people also. I was in a workshop. I studied in Bethlehem University, and I have a master's degree in sustainable development. And I am a writer, novelist, and a poet. I try to find an answer for the question that would the Palestinian revolution get the victory and there would be a state and independence, or etc. I met some man, an American, his name Tom Christensen. We were in a workshop and we went for an activity. Then we discussed many ideas, and he told me about the spiral dynamics and about the integrity. And he told me you can find the answer inside this theory. So I tried to contact with Don Beck, and finally I succeeded to contact with marvelous Elza E.Maalouf, and they came to Palestine, and we arranged a session for a group that they explain the spiral dynamics in, which put my mind open on my mind a new window how to think about the reason what's happening and about the solutions. And then later we hosted them for many sessions, 5 sessions, training some Palestinian how to deal with this theory and to find in which value system we are. And I think that now I can analyze the situation through this point of view, through the value system, through this memes. So this what put me to know what we should do, and also to understand what's happening here. We are going back to the backward, to the tribe, the Palestinian, and the Israelis to the radical, to the religious factions, radicals, settlers, and the Palestinian to the religious, radical, religious. So this is a value system. This is not. I think through the spiral dynamics that we can understand how's that happening and how we can get rid of it, how we can move forward, not going backward. I am a novelist. I wrote 3 novels. It's about my dreams, about my vision, about my philosophy of life and of people. Also, it's a message also of peace and of thinking, and this is what Nafiz Rifaie. I am a friend of Elza and her husband, nice Saeed, and Neri. I hope that peace will be a bridge between me and him. Even we are outside of the hatred and enmity, but I think that our people need this peace, not just a person's.
Well, thank you very much. I really appreciate that, Nafiz. And now that we have some idea of where each of us is coming from, I'd like to start with just a couple questions, more or less off the headlines very recently, because we're obviously, in the West, the big news is still what happens after Paris, after the bombings there, and not so much about what about the bombings in Lebanon, which I understand was ISIS attacking Hezbollah. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I would have liked first as to follow up with Nafiz to explain to the listeners what these value systems are before we go deeper into, because there might be people in the audience who have no idea what it means, value system. And I would invite Saeed to briefly talk about what it means and why Nafiz said this is the solution. I mean, we who know that we know the potential, but the other people probably not. And so I think before we go into the real questions where we will talk about that, we need to know what it is, what the tool is, at least briefly.
I usually defer to her judgment.
So go ahead, Nafiz.
What Elza can explain better than me, but I think the systems that it's something you can behave according of the conscious, and the conscious inside your mentality. So to be liberal, it means you are looking to the things more with your mind, more than your feelings and your emotions. And I think that the people coming back, when they are feeling not secure, they are going back to the tribal in order to find security. And the Palestinian, and at that time, let's speak about the Palestinian, then we can talk about the Arab and the Muslims. They are feeling no security to them by the Palestinian Authority. The Palestinian Authority cannot secure the Palestinian from being burned, from being killed, from being tortured, from being demolished their homes, settlements, checkpoints, etc. Many procedures by the occupation oppressed on the Palestinian. And the people, they are frustrated from this authority, and they consider this authority not lead to 20 years of negotiation. It led for more settlements, for more, there is no stability, no no future, no business, no work, and the graduates unemployment. So the future for them equal something mystery, and so this authority cannot help them. So they should go back to find another thing to help them. At the time, they are not using their mind. They are going to use their feeling, their primitive feeling, something. Tell them that God can help you. But the God on earth, there is people of God. That the religious people, they are not the religious who are liberal and open mind, but the radicals, the closed mind. Then the people go back in order to the tribe, to the value system. The second value system. This is the tribe.
Yeah.
This is to go back, try to get security. And what's happening on the Israeli society, that the liberals, they are staying in Tel Aviv. Outside of the wall, there is a wall between the West Bank, the occupied West Bank. Settlers now occupying the West Bank. And the liberals inside Tel Aviv, etc., they don't know what's happening. They are living their life and have jobs and recreation, etc. But on the other side, the settlers, they are similar to the backward of the Palestinians. They are very radicals and believing in things. They should take things by force, and be held by the soldiers, etc. So what's happening now? It's that the Palestinians try to find something to secure them, with frustration, with no hope. They lose nothing. So they believe that the future of 20 years of negotiation of peace led to more settlements, not peace. So they behave on the second meme of the spiral dynamics. This is and leading to violence, revenge, stabbing, demolishing, trying to secure themselves. They try to find a way. And the settlers, they use the power and the power of the Israeli government, because most of the Israeli government are radicals, and many Bennett and others, and he is living in the settlements. Many of them, they are living in the settlements. They are most of the time announcing that the Palestinian, we should punish them more, we should do, etc., etc. And this is what's happening here. So if we want to move forward, not going back, go back, we should give the people more hope, and let the people to know that there is a future and there is a life for them, and they can. Of course, I have many friends. They have initiatives. One of them, now they are looking for one state. They are saying, okay, you Israel is not going to give us Palestinian state. Okay, we are now in one state, because the settlements, the Israeli government cannot move the settlers now. They are building more settlements, more settlements, more settlements between the Palestinians. And Netanyahu idea is isolated islands is the Palestinian state. It's something unbelievable. You cannot believe that this isolated islands leading to a peace. I am working in the Palestinian Foreign Ministry, and I see what's happening on the ground. That there is a settlements plan to divide the West Bank for 3 isolated areas by putting blocks of settlers on these areas, and then to make buffer zone between the Palestinian big cities of settlers. This means there is no social development or economic development or even political links between the people, contacts. So this demolishing the Palestinian state, 2 states here. And so their initiative, okay, we are going something to similar of South Africa, apartheid 1 state, and then we will try to get our rights inside this apartheid. Yeah, and this something happened by the Israeli government on ground. It's not just, you can hear Netanyahu, okay, let's stay and negotiate about peace. But they are doing nothing. On just sitting in hotels and getting, but they are in 5-star hotels with the recreation and discussing what's happening on the ground, something very different. And that bulldozers all the time, day and night, they are working, building settlements. And this settlement destroying peace. And this peace, and destroying also the hope, and the graduates, and the unemployment of the Palestinian, etc. There is no hope. And so the people very suspicious about this Palestinian Authority. So they try to find something to give them security. There is nothing, there is no hope. So they use their hands. And some of them, they said, we lose nothing. But of course, this is what's happening. Even one of the people who his name Baha Alayan, he went on an Israeli bus and stabbed and killed Israelis. He has وصية شو معناته وصية؟
A will.
Yeah. So he has a will?
Yeah, something like this, yeah. From 10 points, 10 advices. That he's saying, the Palestinian organization, don't say that I am one of you. This is a big message to the Palestinian Authority. I am not belonging of you to any party. So, and many of these guys, they are saying the same. So the contact between the authority with the organizations, with the political parties, now is being very weak. And some people is behaving without going back to Abu Mazen, to the authority, to the factions, even to Fatah, to Hamas. They are no Fatah, not Hamas. Most of them, they are behaving because they lost the hope. This is a value system of thinking. This is when I try to find the answers of many questions, at first to me, later to my people, and to the future of my family and my friends and my people, and even to the Israelis. So let's see what we can do. We can explain, we can interpret, but later, what should we do? So what's happening in Paris? This is also another thing that the people in the Arab world, in the spring of the Arab world, they are without liberal parties.
Yes.
And the Muslims factions were encouraged by the United States, and they support them. They try to find them as an alternative power of the liberals.
Yeah.
So this led for more radicals.
Exactly.
This is they interfere of the Arab Spring, and Holland. He is very abusive man, Against the Syria, he destroyed Syria. He killed 200,000 people and more than 2 million refugees in order to bring democracy. What about democracy? For the Arabs.
Yeah.
When we look to China, please, I have a point of view. When we are looking to China, that all they are they are fourth of the
committee.
All of them, they are working without democracy. Syria was working and with peace, etc. In order to bring democracy, you can bring Daesh and support Daesh and support al-Nusra and support al-Qaeda, and you weapon them, give them weapons in order to kill and to destroy this regime in order to bring democracy. And then, okay, what's happening now? The interfere of the Russians in order to support the state, and this leading that most of Daesh and al-Qaeda to be thrown out Syria. They should go back to Turkey and go to Europe. And what will happen?
I understand.
Mark. The reference. That's the acronym. The Arabic acronym for ISIL is Daesh. And what Nafiz is saying is right on with what really started this spark of violence. It is our Western idea of one person, one vote, of democracy. Well, in a culture that is controlled by primarily dictators who have repressed the people who want to express themselves, when you let go of that structure that has kept Red in check, Red is going to rebel. It has contained all that rebellion within it for decades. It's going to rebel. One person, one vote got, Nafiz, this is you, one person, one vote got us Hamas in Gaza, based on George Bush's doctrine. One person, one vote got us the Shia government in Baghdad that allowed all these things to happen.
The Muslim Brotherhood in
that allowed ISIS to resurface as a revenge for the U.S. for allowing the one person, one vote and the Shia religious radicals to take over the Iraqi government. So one person, one vote doesn't work for the Middle East.
So what I understand...
I would like to add a little thing for that, because it's not simple. Israel actually created the Palestinian Authority, and actually the Fatah rule is because Israel is supporting it, and it's not ruling by democracy. There was no election for quite some time, and so it's not any leader that is there. It needs some special qualities, and it's very hard to find those leadership that can take responsibility for the development of the Palestinian people and the Syrian people, of course, as well. And we can talk about Lebanon, but if we focus on Palestine, it's clear that the current leadership is not serving the Palestinian cause, and the people are ending up without security. And the way those good leadership, the guys that can deal with Israel, that can lead the Palestinian development, are still not seen. I don't see them yet. That's my note.
So so it's the bloody dance of the two value systems. One reacting to the other, instead of looking at a superordinate goal in the future that says, hey, we can both work towards that. And here's, number one, here's what we need to do to strengthen our position towards that goal, and here's what we need to do towards that goal. And you don't see a lot of that happening. If I get what both of you, Nafiz and Neri, are saying, is that they're dealing with immediate reactive reality.
Can I interfere a little bit, because we have the audience here, and there are some comments. There is Aslin, I will bring that up. And she says, the Israeli divide and conquer method is certainly working. Do you really see this changing? I don't. the Israelis certainly aren't going to change a winning formula. It would take a radical shift in mentality and government for that. Who wants to answer to that? Do you want to say something?
Yeah, that's for you, Neri.
I think so.
Lucky you, Neri. Lucky you.
Well, Israel has a strong and successful system, and it's managed to control the situation. It's actually managed by the way to reduce the power of Fatah and Hamas. And although they can harm us a little bit, when they do this, we know how to handle them with force. The current violence that Nafiz was describing, where people active their red element, which means they see themselves are fighting evil Israel and going and take the decision and stop and do those things, as awful as those things, it creates some kind of fear and uncomfort in the Israeli society, and it's have some tendency to push settlers' support a little bit lower, although it's not stable. It's like a wave, because it's also give the settlers claims now we need more force, now we need more dynamic. So Israel clearly need a change, and we need to look at the world like Europe and United States and their influence on the Israel dynamic. It's like I'm always optimistic. Like I think that people are wise, and I think Israel will find the path for better managing and enabling the Palestinian development. But right now we're going to see this kind of violent waves and quiet, where we need to seek how to enable the Palestinians develop their capacities to self-rule, to develop their economy and the livelihood.
I want to make sure that I understand a couple things here. It sounds like, in a way, disaffected Palestinian factions are reflecting the rejection of current political boundaries and systems, just like ISIS is doing with virtually every national boundary that exists in the Middle East. So a pox on everybody's house, so to speak, you know, and they want to go back to something more primitive but much more passionate. And it sounds like these stabbings of Israeli citizens by radical Palestinian youth, I would think, is a way that forces divisions to open up within Israeli society, with some moderates wanting to oppose more settlement and the settlers wanting to be even tougher. Is this correct?
The Palestinians have nothing to lose. They're highly educated with degrees in psychology and BA in economy. They have nothing to lose.
They have no jobs. Yeah.
They have no jobs, no work. Nafiz can speak of that.
Yeah, and I think what's important is what Nafiz mentioned earlier, is the fact that these kids, you know, they had a manifesto. The ones who were stabbing Israelis, they had a will or a manifesto on them that says, "Don't affiliate me with Hamas or Fatah." When situations reach that level of desperation, there's something that's very wrong with the basic structure of culture. And that's what really needs to be addressed.
What I ask here at this point, is it transportable to what is happening now here in Europe with this attacks and so on? Is it the same background of desperation, we have nothing to lose, or is it different?
I would like to say something, that the wave is coming as a result, not because it's happened and the Israelis made the procedures, helped the settlers. They started with the settlers all the time. And even the Palestinian leadership, the Israelis, after assassinated Rabin, most of the leaders of the Israelis, they are behaving with the Palestinian, not helping them for developing. Sorry, Neri. The corruption is also made by the Israelis with some agents of the Palestinians. So there is no development under occupation. The checkpoints and the demolitions and the sanctions and the confiscating and destroying the factories. What development will happen under occupation? There is no development under occupation. That occupation means there is no development. There is no violating the freedom, every kind of life. And the leadership, what leadership would you like? Okay, release Marwan al-Barghouthi now and make with him a historical peace. You are not going to do it. And even Abbas, you all the time saying that he is very weak. He is very weak. And he destroyed the Palestinian society. And he helping the Israelis. He all the time working what the Israelis saying, yes, okay, yes, okay, yes, okay. And he's against violence. But now at that time he cannot behave stopping this wave. This wave, I don't know when it will be ended. That he cannot, because they are not belonging to the political parties. This is what's happening, not because he doesn't want. He cannot, and the Israelis cannot, because we cannot predict who will go to do this. What's happening? That any Palestinian on checkpoint to just move his hand, he's being shot. There is no secure. I being very afraid that I am being all the time putting my hands like this in order to see my hands, because if I move my hand like that, I may be shot. You don't know what's happening to the Palestinian at this time. So this wave of revenge, wave of revolution, I don't know what exactly the name of it, but it's wave of that the people is desperate and nothing to lose. This is what's happening, and the Israelis giving no hope. What leadership? What development? What employment? What's happening? This leads for more violence. I can just analyze this. This is not my feelings. This is my spiral dynamics. This leads to that.
I just want to comment that
there needs to be a different type of intelligence on both sides, both the Palestinians and the Israelis. And the sense that I get is that maybe the Palestinians, like you said, Marwan al-Barghouthi, will be a new expression of Palestinian values. From what I understand is that he's been in Israeli prisons. He's really done the Palestinian hero's journey that everybody respects him, and he speaks Hebrew fluently. So he might be the person who can bridge those differences between the two states. And maybe, Neri, on your end, there's maybe a hunger for a new form of leadership in government. Maybe not fully to the right, to the left, but maybe someone moderate with appreciation for a final settlement, be it, like Nafiz says, an apartheid system that might not work as well, or a two-state solution. Elza and I have been to a lot of is it the J Street activists in a lot of universities here. They're beginning to advocate for a two-state solution, and at this stage, they're just looking to save the state of Israel. So they're not necessarily looking to for a partnership with the Palestinians, but they want to establish Israel as a state by itself, and that seems to be setting in as a goal in the Jewish diaspora here in the States. Is that let's pursue the two-state solution, not for the sake of peace, but for the sake of preservation of the Israeli state. And if that needs to be the solution in order for the Palestinians to wake up and say, we need to build our own capacities. We need to shift from being a distributed red system that attacks everything with poor leadership to a place where, okay, we need to build a nation. How do we do it?
They need someone.
I want to, sorry, it's like I want to remake to that. I will relate to the Europa and Paris later, but first I agree with Nafiz. Right now, the Palestinians cannot develop, and Israel is holding them down. They're not letting them develop, and this is one of the deadlocks. And the Israelis are not aware of what they are doing. They are not. They're telling themselves, we don't have no one to talk with, but they are not aware that when they signal to the Palestinian with the government with settlers, they signal the Palestinians, you will not have a state. So what do you want them to expect? This is the reality. I see in Israel a potential change, but it takes time. It's a democratic system with its good parts and bad parts. I'm hopeful that those ideas will emerge, and I feel that there is criticism and there is an effort to change the Israel behavior, and I hope with Nafiz that we'll see it in our lives, this changes. But it is a dance of the two, and the change in Israel is critical. And while we have this settler ideology dominance, and thinking that we can have a state and we'll control the Palestinians or convince them to go to Jordan, this is settlers' ideas. Or some of them will say, we trust God, let's everybody vote and God will make everything okay. Those kind of ideas I hear from the settlers. I think that's
also, one guy that we shouldn't listen to is God.
Yeah, but I think that not only we need to preserve Israel as Israeli things, we also need to protect Palestine, and this is come to miminomics. If we put the Palestinian people in Israel, economically, the Israeli will, I'll use the bad word, will enslave them one way or another. They use them as cheap work. Yes. They keep them in some kind of poverty. So it's like we'll have our Arabs, whatever we call them, but we'll not let them to get to power. We will show you few successful Arabs, but most of the population will not have potential for independence. This is why I think separation is important. And I think that first we need to draw a borderline and say, signal to the Palestinians, you will have a state. I don't know if we, like in Gaza, will go away, it will end up good. But as steps forward, we need to have some kind of Israel signal the Palestinian that there is a future for the Palestinian people, and this is not reality. This is not what we as Israel signaling now. And hopefully, I think this is something that we need or try to help the Israel leadership and the Israeli activists to understand what they are doing. If we want to discuss this more, we can, because I have some comments for Heidi question about the relation of Europe and Palestine. And this is like, I see the mimetic thing where Daesh is saying the world, we know the truth. They usually have this kind of signal. This is God truth. And they act upon it. For me, it's like, it's crazy. It's like they try to fight everyone in all directions, and eventually, I think within a year, if Europe and Russia and the States will fight them, they will not have no oil and no bounty to continue do it, and they will be much less effective. But this is not the case with the Palestinian people. They are not, well, some of them use the ideology that this is Arab land, and the Jews come here and they need to go away. There is those ideas, of course. But for the Palestinians that born here, that live here, that have generation here, they're not gone away. And as Nafiz said, it's like we want our freedom, we want our chance to develop and evolve, and within internet and all the knowledge that we have today, it's the idea is access to them, but the practice they cannot access the practice. And this is, I think, important step forward in Israel, and this is a very big difference than what we see in Daesh activity in its world fighting for caliphate. I think Palestinian eventually not fighting for caliphate or Hamas ideology, but more of give us independence, let us live our lives, stop managing us and manipulating us, and hopefully we'll find some ways to go forward with that, I hope.
Thank you very much. And I'm now very curious what Elza has to say. And then there are comments afterwards, comments from our watchers, okay?
I want to unmute Nafiz.
About my internet.
Nafiz.
Yes. About my internet, that my name is not because yesterday the Palestinian Authority signed with the Israelis that the third generation of internet, they allow the Palestinians just yesterday to use the third generation, 3 giga and more. So for that, it is still not efficient, but the coming time I can write my name. So it's a technical occupation. Neri.
Okay, Nafiz. Nafiz, let's think about the future. How can we build institutions in your own state?
Think about future. We are looking for 2 states. In the occupation, it means we are building peace. But the people knowing there is no end for the occupation, I think it's being worse and worse, the situation. Let's give the people, the young people, this generation, there is peace and the future coming, and independence and freedom. So it can help the people. But if there is no hope, the people, you cannot convince them that to stop what revenge, resistance, war. I don't know how to call it, to name it. But hope it means that. Yes, yes, Elza.
Let's talk about how we can build institutions in your own state. Can you help the millennials build institutions?
I think that we should build bridges between the Palestinians and Israelis. And this is not, there is no Palestinian leadership, Neri. There are Palestinians, you can speak with them, you can negotiate with them. They are liberal, they are believing in peace. And in the Israeli side, there are Israelis the same. Not they are all radical settlers, etc. So we can build bridges, and this means that I think South Africa, there happened an initiative between a group of Palestinians and a group of Israelis of negotiation of streets. In Tel Aviv, 40 Palestinians and 40 Israelis, they were negotiated in Tel Aviv, and they discussed some points in occupation, no more settlements, etc. So this will raise the atmosphere of hope and the people believing that is something coming on the future. or just they are hearing Bennett and Uri Ariel and I don't know others here all the time announcing the Palestinian confiscate more land, throw the Palestinian out, etc. So to hear another voice between the two people, that because I know that the Israeli community, society now is very fearful of any Palestinian. Even the Israelis يعني, they are afraid of anyone who like Palestinian. Some of the Israelis, they are Mediterranean and they are similar to the Palestinians. So I heard many stories about they face problems that
Now,
they thought
Nazif, now Abu Mazen's leadership is none. It's zero.
Abu Mazen leadership is confiscating by the Israelis, and he cannot do for the Palestinian.
Okay.
Something. Here, Jon Freeman, is the ISIS ideology affecting the Palestinians at all?
Yes.
The ISIS is something, please, I would like to say, it's a Western manufactured, it's not Palestinian. And many, even Sunnah, many Muslims were killed, Arabs killed by ISIS more than the others. ISIS, Daesh, this is not Arab, and it, I think some, but very, very, very little influenced by Daesh. But most of the Palestinian not influenced by Daesh. They are against Daesh. They believe that Daesh something to destroy the Arab wars and to destroy the image of the Arabs and the Muslims.
Yeah, and we have another comment here. Can I mute you in just a moment? It's Doug Breitbart. Can
Doug
you read?
Breitbart, yes. We have a comment. It seems to me that the majority of folk on both sides of this divide are interested in peace. It is the violent reactionary and extremists in control of both populations as they fight with each other. I know there are many in Israel that do not believe in or support the right wing, the extreme right, in control in Israel. And I assume there are many Palestinians who do not sanction their leadership's violence. Perhaps the answer lies in figuring out how to put both authorities out of business, courtesy of a bottom-up, grassroots, united movement based on action and demonstration on a massive scale. Yeah, why don't we do that?